tens of thousands of people, many of them first-time buyers, are living in 166 privately owned tower blocks where remedial work is yet to be completed 22 months after the Grenfell fire claimed 72 lives, and there are no plans in place for 71 of those 166 blocks. And this is according to the latest government figures. And it includes at least one block of flats in Liverpool. Circle 109 in Henry Street in Liverpool 1. Two junior doctors, Jessica Thompson and her fiancé Matthew Barlow, bought a two-bedroom apartment there in 2018. It was just what they were after as a starter. All, however, was not what it seemed, as Jess told me, en route to an important meeting with the housing minister in London.
So we bought it in August 2018, our first flat that we bought together, and we loved it, did all our usual things, decorated, got all our furniture. It was very exciting. And then just before Christmas, we got a letter saying that they were going to test the cladding on the building in the wake of Grenfell, as per the government advice. And I didn't think much of it, to be honest. In passing by, I thought they must be testing everywhere, which is, the right thing to do. And then in January, we got the letter that said that the cladding on the building is flammable. And all it really explained was that as a temporary measure, they were going to be putting in a waking watch, which is a man who's hired, or several men who are hired to walk around the building 24 hours a day, making sure that there's not a fire, because our fire alarm system apparently is not up to scratch enough given the risk in our building.
That's extraordinary. Yeah. You're saying your fire alarm's not working and you've got cladding that's dangerous.
They are working, they're not working well enough, apparently, given that the building is now a fire hazard itself.
You now own it freehold, I take it. Or is there a management company or anything like that?
Yeah, so we own it leasehold. And there is a management company who are working on behalf, as far as I can tell, of the freeholder. And they're the ones who've organised this waking watch. And they're the ones who hopefully will be organising a specialist cladding company to take us further. But until then, we've got very little information.
So something is going to be done about the cladding on your building, is that right?
As far as I'm aware, it has to be. But I don't know how long this would take. And as far as I've been told so far, we would be expected to pay for it as leaseholders.
My goodness. And have you any idea how much that might be?
I've got no idea at all, but just a quick Google looking, as you would do when you get a letter like this, sure. Looking at news stories from other buildings, from London up to Manchester. I've read figures of up to £90,000 in London per flat, and anything down to £10,000, which is still not doable. And that's every flat having to stump up that money.
It's not just the shock of this money, though, and the situation you were in, but also I understand you were intending to move elsewhere.
We were, in the long run. I mean, we're young. We're about to get married in July, and this is a two-bedroom flat, so it's been a perfect sort of starter home for us, but it was never going to be permanent. The next year we were planning on moving and getting a house, starting a family, and as it stands right now, the flat is completely worthless and unsellable and unmortgageable from what I've been told. Essentially, we're stuck with it until it hopefully regains its value if this cladding problem can be sorted.
Now, you're involved with Cladiators, as I understand it, the organisation. I don't know how you got to them, but this is an organisation in Manchester that is sort of got the same sort of problems, yeah?
It is. So the Manchester Cladiators seem to have been going for well over a year now, and so obviously this is very new to us, that they've got a lot more experience with several buildings in Manchester which are facing similar problems, who've come together from residents themselves and have done an amazing job of organising themselves. So they're now linking into the Northern Cladiators, which is going to be, our representation up north to take, to the government to try and make a noise of the situation. So on Thursday, we're having a meeting, which is essentially the launch of the Liverpool Cladiators, with support and help from the Manchester Cladiators and the Northern Cladiators, just to try and bring us together like Manchester have, because there's at least 3 or 4 buildings already that we know of in Liverpool alone, and we just want to reach out to everyone, and because I think we're much stronger as a group.
Yeah, now there may be people listening who are in a similar situation to you and didn't know there's any kind of organisation to help them. They can presumably come along if they wish to this meeting tomorrow evening.
Absolutely, yeah. The more people we can get on Thursday, the better. And also, obviously, it'd be great to meet them and we can start to organise ourselves with them. There's a Northern Cladiators and a Manchester Cladiators Twitter page and Facebook page at the minute, so if they wanted to get in touch, and we'd love to give anyone more details of the event.
And you are meeting with the Minister this morning, is that right?
We are, yeah. We're meeting with the Secretary for Housing, Robert Jenrick. Just as a I'm sort of going to represent the Liverpool group, which we're forming, but there's people from all over the country who've got similar interests, they're leaseholders in this situation. And, I think he really needs to know how big this is and how much this is going to affect, us working people's lives, and anything that he can do to help. Because, we didn't put ourselves in this situation. This wasn't a bad business deal, this wasn't a mess up on our part. All of us just bought a flat, which was signed off by surveyors for the mortgage, and everybody was happy with it at the time, and then suddenly it's all gone so wrong, and we do need help.
Jess Thompson there, and that inaugural event to bring together victims of the cladding scandal in Liverpool is actually being facilitated by the Bishop of Liverpool, the Right Reverend Paul Bayes, and the Reverend Canon Ellen Loudon, and the Metro Mayor Steve Rodden will also be there speaking to show his support and to call on the government for action.